Racing on Saturday takes place out at Turffontein, and we've got 8 races on the program. It is a doubleheader on the local front, so racing alongside Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. It's racing on the stand-side track. Race number 1, 20 past 12, the off time, and we begin with a juvenile plate over the 1,000 meter trip. Joining me on the line is Alistair Conan. Alistair, how are you doing?
Yeah, good, thanks, Raheel. 16 races on the South African calendar, 8 at both venues, Turffontein and Hollywoodbets Kenilworth. Should be a lot of fun. This card on Saturday has a good mix. I think there are 4 races that are well worth tuning in for, and there are 4 races where punters need to keep their wits about them. So very interesting card with the bar pot being my suggested bet. That gets underway at 20 past 12. So let's hope that it all goes according to plan. Excuse me, on this Saturday.
Well, race number 1, number 4, number 2, Easy Tiger, tops the boards here at 8 to 10. Number 1, Caroline Island, is at 22 to 10. Number 3, Glastonbury, is at 3 to 1. It is then 25 to 1 and a better bar though. So no support for anything else, barring the top 3 in the race here. And this horse, Easy Tiger, very encouraged by the manner in which this filly quickened up to win on debut. Finished off in a time of 22.9, beating Zakatu. And she seems like she could be the horse to beat here.
To the eye, Raheel, she was very encouraging. It's so hard to make up ground in a sprint, especially with all those precocious speed balls around that are obviously tested at home and have done their homework. An Easy Tiger, much like the second one that was trained by Mike de Kock, the Hawam, also in the Ridgemont Silks, also came from off the pace. So they hit the line with a lot. You'd rather see them winning like that than showing that cheap speed and kind of just falling at the wire. What is interesting is that Richard Fourie is riding in Joburg on Saturday and not Cape Town. He's obviously obliged to, with Ridgemont having quite a few runners and having quite a few chances on the card, and I reckon that this would have been the main attraction for Richard with number 2, Easy Tiger. She's related to a filly called Great Cat, who's owned by Hollywood Racing, who's punches above her weight time and time again. She's running next week at Hollywoodbets Kenilworth, and just the way that number 2, Easy Tiger, went about her business first time out is going to make her a hard horse to beat. I have bankered her in the bipod. Obviously, number 1, Caroline Island, and 3, Glastonbury, are winners as well. They both go 1,000 meters for the first time. They both won their maidens over 800 meters. In fact, Glastonbury beat Caroline Island on Betway Summer Cup days, so there is some sort of form to work with. Glastonbury comes in here worse off at the weights now that she's got 60 minus 1.5, not 57.5 minus 1.5. But with that said, Glastonbury, I thought, was finishing off her race quite nicely, but she comes off a 70-day layoff. Watch the scratchings here, because Paul Match has got 6 of the 8 runners in the race. I don't suppose that they'll all line up, but all in all, number 2, Easy Tiger, ranks as a bipod banker in the opener.
Yep, number 2, 8 to 10 the price, and she's the one to beat. Race number 2 next up. This is the graduation plate. 1,160 meters is the distance, 12:55 the off time. It is the start of the place accumulator. Number 4, Winds of Change, 11 to 10. Number 1, Grand Crescendo at 22 to 10. Number 2, The Specialist at 4 to 1. It's an 8 to 1 and better bar those. Now, when you have a look at the best weighted column, number 1, Grand Crescendo, just heads it from Winds of Change, and then it's a long way to The Specialist. And Alyssa, this is quite an interesting race, because I mean, when we have a look at the 2-year-old season, we would have never thought that The Specialist would have gone so backwards, because I mean, he beat Grand Crescendo in that race to VJ's Angel. That was at the grade 1, and yeah, he hasn't really trained on this horse. But is it a 3-horse race, or is it a 2-horse race, or how do you see the second?
Very interesting, you're right, Raheel. Let's bear in mind that The Specialist has beaten Grand Crescendo at grade 1 level. Let me start with number 1, Grand Crescendo, the son of One World. Many will remember Minogue about a week ago coming back from a longer layoff than Grand Crescendo, but I commented that her last workout was very good, and that's going to put her in the picture, and she was a fast finishing second. Grand Crescendo, off for 126 days, had a minor injury after the Betway Joburg Spring Challenge, but is back. His last workout was very, very good, but he is no sprinter, and he is obviously 126 days off the track. So wherever he runs from here, he's going to take a step forward. He's good enough, but is he fit enough, and is he a sprinter enough? That all remains to be seen. I'll put him in just to avoid the egg on my face. Number 2, The Specialist, you're right. Is he the same horse as he was as a 2-year-old? He showed signs of life last time in the Got the Green Light Stakes when finishing less than 6 lengths behind Great Tricks. That was his best run in a while. He's a fit horse. He's been on the boil his whole career. In fact, he's never had a layoff. But the fact that there were signs of life last time, I suppose you'd put him in the respect category, but not a horse that you can be confident in, not with how he's running at the moment. The horse that they all need to beat, though, is number 4, Winds of Change. He could only win his last start. He was never in doubt at prohibitive odds. Beat Paul Revere. Paul Revere was a winner just a week earlier, so that form's worked out well. He, too, is Grade 1 placed as a maiden. Let's not lose sight of that. And for me, Winds of Change is probably just more of a sprinter than what Grand Crescendo is. In fact, he's definitely more of a sprinter than what Grand Crescendo is. So I think number 1, Winds of Change, is going to take all the beating. I am going to tip him on top, but I'm going to go with both horses in the buy pot, 4 and 1 in order of preference. Race number 2 in the PA, I think you can bank in number 4, Winds of Change.
Winds of Change, 11 to 10. That's the top choice in race 2. Race number 3, start off the pick 6, maiden plate, fillies and mares, 1600 meters the distance, and 1:30 is the off time. Number 1, Mountain High. This horse continues to run second. She's become very, very costly to follow. It is 3 to 1 up the ante, 3 to 1 Hollywood Madam. It's 10 to 1 and better bar those. So that's your market for race number 3. Alistair, this race, what do you think here? This filly up the ante. I like the way she finished off a race last time out despite drifting off the boards, and you were spot on with Maverick Queen that day.
Yeah, well, that's why I've got up the ante in. I mean, look, Mountain High, what can we say about her that hasn't been said already? You say that she's been costly to follow, disappointing. She's all of that. Last time at the 400, she looked like she was going to finish out the back door, and then suddenly she found a gear, and a few more strides, she might have actually got up to beat Give Me Passion. Do you just have to ride her like a thief? Do you have to ride her no good? I don't know. She is frustrating, and I know Sean Terry's high standards and his demand for results. He will be probably more frustrated than Mountain High than what anyone else is. The fact that she's gone off so short and not won a race yet. Cannot write off her chances. She's going to win a race one of these days. She'll probably go on a streak when she does build her confidence and figure it all out. There's probably just something missing with number 1, Mountain. I don't know if it's equipment. I don't know if it's a style of riding. I don't know what it is, but there is just probably something that's just lacking with number 1, Mountain High. If they do find it in the space of 23 days, then there's every chance that she can win. Number 3, Up the Ante, is in the Raheel because I love how she stayed on last time out. It's a prolific speed pedigree. Raise the Bar was trained by Paul Matchett, and she was top class on the Vault Sand. She might have racked up double figures as far as wins are concerned. Did Raise the Bar, and she's produced quite a few enigmatic yet talented horses. So number 3, Up the Ante, ran last time like she'll get the mile. Will she reach the mile genetically? We shall see. But I like how she hit the line last time behind Maverick Queen, who again could never possibly lose. Faree's on board for Richmond and for Devon Hepper. I do give her a lot of respect. I do fancy that if Mountain High falls short again, which is a distinct possibility, that number 3, Up the Ante, could be the right one. In the pick 6, I would put the Joey Stomer horse in number 11, Hollywood Madam. If she was drawn better, I would have put her into the bar pot, but draw 11 out of 11 is not going to be too straightforward first time around the turn. But at least it was a good debut, 4th behind Warning Sound, and the Soma way is to get them to come on with runs under the belt, so she could have improvement to come. Don't need her in the bar pot, don't need her in the PA, but you do need her in the pick 6.
Yeah, if number 1, Mountain High's form is anything to go by, well then she's going to be a buy pot and place accumulator banker, but not a pick 6 banker. But let's see how she goes here in race number 3. Up the Ante, and Hollywood Madam back up in the pick 6. Race number 4, maiden plate, 1600 meters, 2:05 the off time, and number 4, Apache Chief tops the boards at 16 to 10. Number 1, Spirito Salvaggio at 4 to 1, 6 to 1 about number 2, Snow Moon. 6 to 1 Spy Story, it's then 8 to 1 and better bar those. Now, this horse, Apache Chief, he ran a cracker just 16 days ago, beaten by a first timer from the Mike de Kock yard, and that run would have brought him on significantly. He was threatening to win for a while down in the Western Cape, but didn't manage to get that win under the belt, and this is the right type of race for him, Alistair.
Raheel, best bet of the day for me, number 4, Apache Chief. Gavin Lorena on board for Brett and James Crawford. Gavin got the ride last time. It would be the Crawford way because of their loyalty towards jockeys to have looked for Cabello, but he's riding number 8, Peak Predator there. I wouldn't read too much into that. The Crawfords would have engaged Cabello naturally, but I think the fact that Cabello had another ride in the race for Brett and James Crawford, Gavin got on this horse, rode Apache Chief well. Now there's a stable companion for Cabello to fall back on. I wouldn't read anything anything into the jockey arrangements. Number 4, Apache Chief, lovely last run. To be fair, you say he was threatening to win in Cape Town, which he was. There were times where I thought he was in the right race and failed to get the job done. Like, for example, when the saddle slipped on the 23rd of March. I mean, that was a very costly day. But for that run, he's put in some interesting efforts, number 4, Apache Chief. But for me, he's always been looking for a galloping course at Turffontein. He got that last time. He came from a long way back on the back of a 6-month break, so he would have been entitled to have needed the run. He stayed on very strongly behind Immediate Edge, who could be anything going forward, 14 de Kock. And I think that number 4, Apache Chief, is in the right place here. The biggest dangers, number 1, Spirito Salvaggio, last run's a legendary. That form, although there has been a direct win, is very dicey, and he's got the worst of the draws, number 1, Spirito Salvaggio. So Peter Sunday Mqoli, who I love, will have to be at the top of his game. Spy Story is an 18-run maiden. Although he's running his best races, he's held by Apache Chief, so I have no reason to believe that that's suddenly going to turn around. So for me, all in, as you would say, number 4, Apache Chief, very, very hard horse to beat. Best bet of the Turffontein card.
16 to 10 the price, about the son of Lancaster Bomber, and we expect him to get the job done at start number 14. Race 5, Pinnacle Stakes, 2,400 meters, the start of Jackpot 2. Number 1, Zeus, favorite, 16 to 10. Number 4, Marauding Horde, 18 to 10. 28 to 10 about number 3, Razor Hallelujah. It's an 8 to 1 and better by those. Zeus is back on happy hunting ground, Alistair, the one to beat.
Yep, spot on. 10-time winner, all 10 wins under Gavin Larena, the most accomplished stayer in the race, the best stayer in the race according to his rating of 117, and also the highest rating achieved of 122. I thought from a bad draws run in the Betway Summer Cup was full of merit, beaten less than 4 lengths by Atticus Finch. The conditions of the race suit him as well. The best weighted column tells you that number 1, Zeus, is very well treated in this race, and with his best mates on board, there's every opportunity that number 1, Zeus, is going to visit the number 1 box. But this is not going to be his cup final, but is it anyone's cup final? The answer is no. So if he is made to work with his 60 kilos, giving weight away to some very good stayers, probably not quite at the same category as number 1 Zeus, there's going to be a doubt fitness-wise about number 1 Zeus, that there's all these stayers races coming up on the half-veldt that he will be targeting probably with a lot more vigor than what he's targeting just a comeback run to dust off the cobwebs. He can definitely win, but I'd be hesitant to make him a banker. Number 3, Razor Hallelujah, is in exactly the same boat, probably not quite as good as Zeus, but also likely to need the run. He's doing very well at home. If he stayed on, ran 2nd or 3rd, if he won the race, that would be incredible. He's not totally out of it. He's beaten Zeus before. He is 2 kilos worse off for a head. Not much went according to plan that day that he did beat Zeus either. He was the only horse who couldn't get onto the rail. The stable companion was making life hard for Razor Hallelujah, who, to be fair, was weighted an absolute good thing on that occasion. He is an Equine millionaire. He is probably the stable favourite, number 3, Razor Hallelujah. All horses get equal love and attention, but he is just such a softie, such a star. Muzieni gets on board. He gets on well with this horse. There are 2 horses that I think are going to be very dangerous here, Raheel. 4 and 5, Marauding Horde and Battleground. Marauding Horde's got me a little bit stumped, but the last time out in the Drum Star, he stayed on very nicely behind Thunny Player. For me, he was never going to win a 1600 or never going to win a 1800 meter at feature race level, but I think he's got the capabilities to develop into a pretty nice long distance horse as time goes on. Nathan Klink takes a ride, lightweight, could play into his favour. I must be honest, and I'm not one to call out Team de Kock and tell them what to do with a horse. Cheek pieces versus blinkers, I'd be happier to see him in blinkers, but the headgear does seem to be bringing him on a little bit, number 4, Marauding Horde. And then number 5, Battleground, also a very good stayer. He's fit, like Marauding Horde, and unlike Zeus and Razor Hallelujah, he was never going to be a factor over a mile last time, but that run probably would have done him a world of good. He'll be more at home going this type of distance, and he's dangerous as well. He can mix it with some very good stayers on his day. So I've got all 4 horses in the buy pot, 1, 3, 4, and 5. Pick 6, go field, other than the 2 other Fabian Habib horses, and I don't know if Armagun is quite the same horse. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 in the pick 6.
You think Marauding Horde stays, Alistair? Because he's been the trip 3 times. I mean, when he ran against 3 holes in the Derby, he was beaten 3.5 lengths, so a fair run. But then, when taking on older horses, he had the weight on his side, Lonsdale, and then in the Java handicap, he has failed to feature. So, what do you think about the distance?
I think he does now. I think all those races, certainly the Derby and the Lonsdale may have come a little bit too soon for a 3-year-old. The second one after a break in the Java with no blinkers, just his form without headgear is ordinary. I think that he does stay. Maybe didn't stay a year ago, but I think now he's got the legs for it. I think that he could develop into a pretty useful long-distance horse. That's just my inkling.
Yeah, could be one to keep an eye on going forward. Number 4, Marauding Horde, and he's currently trading at 18-10. Moving along to race number 6. This is a conditions plate for fillies and mares of 1,600 meters. 3:20 is the off time. Number 3, Let's Go Now, tops the boards at 9-10, 2-1. A Willie Meter Gained, 5-1. Beating Wings, it's an 8-1, and Better Bar Those. Now, number 3, Let's Go Now, ran a cracker last time out. In fact, the last 2 starts went third to White Pearl, last time out in the Ipitombi. You've got number 4, Willie Meter Gained, who ran in the Fillies Mile. She finished third that day behind World of Alice. And then you've got Beating Wings, a filly that's very, very capable. And she is 2 from 2 over the distance, jumps from gate number 2. But as you've mentioned in one of the previous races, that it may not be the cup final for this filly Beating Wings here.
I don't think it's a cup final for any of these, well, certainly numbers 1 and 3 here, Raheel. But I think the key race to have a look at, although Beating Wings is a very good filly, she won the Gerald Rosenberg, which is now the Igugu Stakes, in April last year. And she's accounted for Francis Ethel, and as you observe quite rightly, she's 2 from 2 over this distance. The key race goes back to November, the 11th of November, where Beating Wings was ahead in front of Let's Go Now, and there's 4.5 kilos to turn around. For me, that's not going to turn around the structure and the weights of this race. The fact that it's all rostered according to amount of wins that each horse has had, so 2 kilos for every win. Let's Go Now is going to be a very, very hard horse to beat. Gavin Lorena takes her out. I thought her last run in the Yippie Tommy was full of merit as well. She's probably just looking for, she's probably that 1,800 meter horse that, you know, miles just a little bit too short, certainly 2.4's a little bit too far, but 1,800 to 2,000 probably going to be her happy place. She is obviously related to the horse that ran third in the Hollywoodbets Durbanville. Bless my stars, she's a full sister. So I think number 3, Let's Go Now, rates of the bipod banker. The only horse who can trouble her for me is number 1, Beating Wings. She's a very, very good filly, but the max suggests that she can't beat number 3, Let's Go Now. So that's the way I read it. And there's some horses here that are just simply going around for a lap for fitness, I think.
Yeah, that's race number 6 over 1,600 meters. Penultimate race on the program, race 7, 15:55 middle stakes, 1,400 meters the trip. And an important scratch in here, number 3, Counting Victor. See, that's been sold without an engagement, so he's on to somewhere else now. Number 3, Count Invicto. Number 5, Francine, 18-10. Number 4, Potberry. How has this horse come good? He's at 3-1. Miss Hannigan at 3-1. 4-1. Number 2, Lead the Charge, 10-1, and Better Bar Those. Now, Francine always shown quite a lot of ability, and she's come good now. She's won 2 of her last 3. Gavin aboard once again. She goes over 1,400 meters, which should not be a concern at all. And Alistair, how do you read this race?
I don't know, Raheel. It's a very trappy race. I wish Carlton Victor was still running. This is what I think. The best horse in the race is number 2, Lead the Charge. I don't think there's any doubt about that. Richard Farid takes her out for Mike and Adam Ashley, but he's never struck me as a horse that's going to be as effective over further than a sprint. He runs like a sprinter. He's not. The mother was she a 1,600 group winner or a 1,400 group winner? I can't remember. But she definitely went around the turn. But the running style of number 2, Lead the Charge, he's got that cheap speed. He's got that turn of foot. But will that carry him across the line over this 1,400 meters? I don't know. It's worth a chance now. This is probably the right time to decide whether he's going to get a trip. If you want to consider the feature races that are coming up around Joburg and certainly Durban in a few months' time. So he, for me, is the most interesting horse in the race, number 2, Lead the Charge, and I wouldn't write off his chances despite the doubts I have. Potberry, you're right, look decidedly moderate, then won a Hot Maiden beating Pioneer Square, who's just been gelded, and also One More Star, who I think has got wins to come from Sean Tarian, and suddenly he's 4th in the Got the Green Light Stakes, a grade 3, and he treated Lava Fire with 62.5 kilos as if he was some sort of toy. So he's now rated at 101, which was totally unthinkable just 3 months earlier. He's obviously progressive and got a good chance. And then number 5, Francine, who's got an awkward draw, but won in good style last time, beating Fastnet Philly. Now, this is a lot harder. I made Francine a good thing last time on the 2nd of January on the show. And on what I saw, she has got a lot of ability and probably got a lot more to come, number 5, Francine. Very, very tricky race. I wouldn't even write off number 6, Miss Hannigan. Was up. I know that she's done well over a mile. She's won over a mile, etc. But I think that this is probably more to her liking. And even number 7, Max the Magician, who was tested at a very high level as a young horse, his rating's coming down all the while. So he's not got his legs tied up either. All in all, to lead the charge is more of a guess rather than a calculated opinion, but 4, 5, 6, and 7 do rank as chances. I wouldn't be prepared to leave them out and write them off.
Very, very tricky race, the 7th race on the program over 1400 meters. You've got quite a number of winning hopes. Race number 8, final race on the day. This is set to be run over 1160 meters, 4:30 the off time. It's an MR72 handicap, and we've got joint favorites. Number 2, Warm Winter Night, and number 4, Pretty Precious, both at 28-10. You can get 9-2 about number 3, Sakala Escatulo. It is 5-1 about the Navy Lark. 11-2 number 6, Samoa. It's an 8-1 and better bar those. Final race on the day. How many horses do the guys need for the final leg of the Pick 6?
I think 3 horses and the 3 at the top of the boards. I'm going to keep this short and simple. I'd love to look and shop around for a horse at a bigger price, but I can't find them. 2, 3, and 4 are the numbers here, Raheel, with, I'd say, a fairly strong preference for number 4, Pretty Precious. I know a filly taking on boys, but coming out the maidens of a rating of 72, got Richard Furry on board, had the few starts in Joburg, been good runs. I love how she improved and adapted with cheek pieces last time. I know she didn't beat much of substance, but she hit the line with a lot in hand. She came from off the pace. She looked the part and won last time out, number 4, Pretty Precious, and I think that she's now progressive and getting to a stage where there could be a few more wins to come, especially at this type of level. Number 2, Warman tonight. Full value for the win last time, coming back from a small break. No reason to knock him off a £4 penalty and write him off. And number 3, Sakala is Artulo. 4 runs back, ran ahead to Address the Nation, who beat a field probably 3 divisions stronger than this at Turffontein on Thursday. He does mix his form. Number 3, Sakala is Artulo. The last run behind Nero was an absolute mishmash mess. There were a lot of horses that ran into trouble. He was one of them. I do prefer numbers 4 and 2, but when you watch the replay of number 3, Sakala is Artulo again from last time out, you would kick yourself. You'd be annoyed if you left him out, seeing what he went through and not backing him up. So those are only 3 horses for me in the final leg of the Pick 6, and I hope that we've saved a little bit of money earlier on by going light.
That is race 8, 2, 3, and 4. The only 3 horses that Alistair believes will be needed in race number 8. We're going to move along to the suggested bet now, and Alistair will take us through his suggested bet for racing at Turffontein on Saturday, with race number 1 set to get underway at 12:20. Alistair, take it away.
Interesting. While I've been going through this card, I think this stacks up as a Hollywood Punters Challenge card. I think the money could be under siege here. Let's hope it all goes according to plan. It would be nice if it's the money of all the followers of the show. Bipot gets underway at 12:20. Banker number 2, Easy Tiger by 1 and 4, Grand Crescendo, and Winds of Change by 1 and 3, Mountain High and Up the Ante. By Banker number 4, Apache Chief by 1, 3, 4, and 5, Zeus, Razor, Hallelujah, Marauding Horde, and Battleground. And then Banker number 3, Let's Go Now in the final leg of the Bipot. The last 2 races probably where you need to work hardest in your exotics and Hollywoodbets Punters Challenge.
Well, that is the Bipot. 12:20 is the off time for race 1, and that means the Bipot will get underway there as well. Alistair, thanks very much. All the best. Have a wonderful weekend.
Chandra Hill, same to you, same to all the viewers. I'm looking forward to chatting again soon. The next half-out meeting will be on Thursday, but a lot going on here in Cape Town and in KZN in between. So, should be some numerous winning opportunities.
Best of luck with racing on Saturday out at Turffontein.